pull him to the ground. A lot of coulda, woulda, shouldas, but
and then even the fumble with the penalty.
Oh yeah. They're stepping on him underneath the pile. He kind of pushes the guy off of him because he is standing on the Memphis player standing on Jeremy Butler underneath the pile, and that's 15 yards back, or it's 2nd and goal at the 1 foot line.
Right.
And you're going to go quarterback sneak twice and get that in, and at that point it's 10-0. And so a little bit different psyche. They scored on us. We're up, 6-0, and they scored in that little 2-minute drill. Your quarterback made a really good play, rolled to his right, and Thad Williams did a great job and pulled him up on the little sprint out. And then he cuts it back, the quarterback does, and you just couldn't draw it up any better of the play that he made to get in the end zone. And that 7-6 at half.
Coach, and I thought, and Memphis a much better team this year than they were last season.
Oh, much better. Yeah, much better. And, I know, and that's one of the reasons why, you heard their coach, Coach Fuente, his post-game press conference, he was thoroughly disappointed because he and I were talking before the games. And like he said, of their 4 wins last year, okay, they were 4 and 8. They didn't play any of those 4 opponents last year. And those opponents were not on their schedules because they'd flipped up, like you and I talked last week, to the American Conference and picked up some more
bowl-eligible teams.
Yeah, right. They were playing good teams. The teams they beat last year were probably in the bottom 50 or bottom 75 in the United States, and now they're playing teams in the top, probably 45. And so you could tell he was pleased with the growth. He obviously the record. He knew they were 1 or 2 play away from having maybe even being 3-3. Or whatever they 4-4, whatever. And so he was very disappointed because anytime a team gets penalties and has turnovers and it's sloppy, you're glad you get to win. So, but they got it and we didn't, and we'll have to learn from that. But we let that one. I won't say get away. That's not a great thing to say, but we were there.
I used the word missed opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's the case. And there's some spots that we're better than we were last year. I mean, I'm very proud of that defense, and they're playing well, and they're keeping us in some games. We good?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Jared Neal made some big plays, but there's some that he missed, and there were some. There was a couple bad decisions there as well, and so very difficult to get a win on the road. As you're still going through growing pains with a young quarterback, it can be very difficult.
Let's talk about statistically the game. Abu Torre had the best game of his career.
Well, he did, and we've been waiting for that game from him, and he's starting to play with a lot more confidence, and he's starting to understand things and react instead of thinking through his steps and his reads and his assignments. There's been some games he could have been over 100 yards in several games, but it's hard to get DJ out of there with the comfort level that we have with him. Now, we'll say on Abu's behalf, another thing, he's the only back this year to have reached the 100-yard plateau against Memphis.
The entire season.
Yeah. So that was a big-time run that he made, and he looked like he belonged there, and he does. I mean, he's a Utah State bounce back transfer, and he's got a lot of physical tools.
DJ McNeil hobbled in the game, and it was good to see Abu step up and take advantage of that opportunity.
It sure was. One milestone for DJ is that's the first back that we had to reach 1,000 yards since Don Chapman in 2007. So it's hard to believe. We won a lot of games. We never had a back that get over 1,000 yards since then. So, and I would say DJ probably hasn't had as many carries this year as Don did in his season.
But I don't know that.
Oh,
is it close? Okay.
If you go back and look, DJ is getting a lot of. He's almost 20 plus a game, and Don will probably. It's not. I bet it's not 20 either way. And I guess Butler probably went over the 1,000-yard mark.
He did.
Yeah, he did too. So some individual things that are getting accomplished. It would have been neat to win that one. Been fun for you and I to talk about. It had no effect on this week's game. Like we talked to our players today, our team's hopes and dreams are still alive. Okay, I mean, mathematically, you win these next 2, you're 6-2 in the league, and you're watching the selection show on that Sunday. And you're hoping for some good news. So, like we said, Eastern Kentucky, is trying to take away that dream from us, and we got to have great practice and be ready to play Saturday.
One more note on Memphis: will we ever play them again? I mean, in the near future?
Right now they're not on the contract through 2015, and of course we'd like to go back down. It's a good trip for us, a day trip. I don't think we'll probably be the first preference.
Right.
There's probably some other teams they'd probably rather bring down. I shouldn't say that, but that if I was making that decision, I'm sure that's what I'd say too.
Yeah, well, I was listening on one of their radio talk shows, and they were hoping to revitalize that series they had with Tennessee with the Vols, and I thought, you know what, they got a real good rivalry with UT Martin going on right now. I wouldn't worry about Tennessee.
Yeah, their fans probably aren't real fired up about it, but ours are, and we enjoyed the opportunity. Appreciate letting us come.
With Jared Neal, he was 6 of 16. Was it their defense? Was he off a little bit on the game passing?
It was more their defense, to be quite honest with you. The game plan going into this game was, every game has its own life. It does, especially when you're putting together your game plan. And we knew they'd struggle on offense, and if our defense could play well, let's try not to put our defense in bad situations. And in order to do that, you got to stay out of third and longs. You got to be low risk, and you knew you couldn't just drop back and throw the ball 50 times. It wasn't going to be a good day for us because you let them rush. They were going to cause us a lot of problems, especially like they're 3 down. Sometimes they're going to rush 3, drop 8. There's not a whole lot of places to throw the ball. And then besides that, they're bringing a 4th rusher, 5th rusher, or 6th rusher, and sacks come from that, especially when there's matchup problems.
Which, as you said, long term puts your defense at a disadvantage.
So the game plan going in was to run the football. Find a formation, then we can get 3 and 4 yards at a time, and we did that. Very proud of that offensive line and those tight ends, those running backs, and shorten the game up. But a lot of pressure comes upon some of those throws because if you miss those throws on first down, and they got to be big throws because there's a lot of people in that box, and there's not those little easy throws that you get when you spread out as much. And, so if you miss a throw, now it's back to 2nd and 10. It'd be very difficult to stay on track and sequence and get a first down in two handoffs. And so when you took your shots, you had to hit it in order to flip the field and at least get a field goal and stuff. But so the plan worked I don't second guess the plan at all. You just were going to have to hit those touchdowns, not miss those field goals.
I wonder do they keep quarterbacks' percentages on first down situations, second down, third downs, maybe even?
I guess we look at our third down where we were. Yeah. We were only 4 of 14 or something like that, which is, not very good. So it, and a lot of things we did throwing the football, Jared, was underneath center.
Yeah.
Okay. And you say, what's the big deal with that? Well, that's kind of big boy, football. There's not very many teams that go underneath center, but it helps our running game out. Okay.
Now, what's the disadvantage for the quarterback?
Well, now you're having to drop back from underneath center,
and it takes a second to get there, or half a second, or whatever.
Well, I mean, you can't see as much. You're having to come off that play action fade. You're having to pop up, see the rushes coming at you. When you're in the gun and you catch the ball, you're already back there. Now you're just kind of getting yourself to balance and getting yourself set to throw. But our particular running game with Jared at quarterback, he's more of a drop back guy. Being underneath center allows our running backs to get their shoulders square and get downhill a little bit more. It's more of a faster. Our 2 big backs, Boo and DJ McNeil, like to get their shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, and you can do that a lot better in the pistol and underneath center. And so there's give and take of both of it, but that's what we needed to do to win the game, and it gave us a chance.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll talk about Eastern Kentucky. They are the opponent Saturday. UT Martin on the road in Richmond, and we'll return with Skyhawk Talk on the UT Martin Skyhawk Sports Network.